So hello and welcome to the 8th of May, which is our sixth session of part of May Wine Month 2024. And just to show where we're at in the month, we are still on Burgundy week. We had a session yesterday from Beaujolais, and now we're going up to the Côte d'Or, to the Côte de Beaune. Sorry, if you're not on mute, if you could just mute, that'd be great. So up to the Côte de Beaune to learn all about Meursault from Bouchard. And we are joined on the call by Guillaume from Bouchard, who can tell us about everything Northern Burgundy, because we just did Beaujolais yesterday. So Guillaume, I'll hand over to you. I know you've got a presentation to share. As always, any questions, pop them in the chat and we will answer them at the end. So thank you.
Okay, hi guys. Thank you, Richard, for the introduction. So my name is Guillaume Lafragette. I'm going to be showing you a little presentation today about Bouchard, Père et Fils. I know that you guys are listing the Meursault, so we'll do a little. How can I put that? A little focus first on Burgundy, where we are situated, and mainly on the Côte de Beaune, and then we'll go deeper in the Bouchard history to finish basically on the wine that you guys are working with, which is the Meursault domain that we do. So as of myself, I'm Guillaume, so I'm the export manager for Bouchard. I've been working with Bouchard for 6 months now. I'm a baby in the company, but yes, I've been working in the wine trade in London for more than 5 years now. Used to work in the Rhône part of France, so not so far from Gigal. I know that you will have another masterclass with Gigal, but yes. So coming from the Rhône, and always told to myself, if I had the chance to work in Burgundy, I would seize it. So I'm very glad to be able to showcase you this little presentation today and to work with you through Burgundy and through Bouchard, Père et Fils. So I don't know if Richard, if the screen is shared, it's working. Do we have it, or should I?
No, not yet. You'll just need to share that presentation for us.
If I do that, does everybody see it?
That's perfect. Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So there you go. Is it working? I need to click. It's not moving. There you go. Perfect. So little summary, of course, as I said, focus on Burgundy, then a bit of history about Bouchard. We'll go on the more detailed stuff about the technical and the vineyard part, the vineyard management, and then profile directly to the wine, which is the Meursault. There you go. Always good to situate Burgundy. I know that you guys must know, but it's always good to have a little showcase. So we are right in the middle, in between Paris and Lyon. We are based in Beaune, basically, and here we're gonna have a little zoom in. So you can see Burgundy is divided in different places. Of course, in the north, you're going to have Chablis, so dry whites over there. Then the Côte de Nuit, the Côte d'Or is divided in two parts. The Côte de Nuit, which is mainly reds up there, and then Côte de Beaune, which is going to be mainly white. We are going to focus on white, but we are doing also some amazing red wine down there. With down south the Côte Chalonnaise, the Mâconnais, and the Beaujolais that you had yesterday in a masterclass. So we are based in Beaune, so really right in between the Côte de Nuit and the Côte de Beaune. Here a little picture of one of the most famous Grand Cru that you'll find in Burgundy and in the Côte de Beaune, La Colline de Corton, where you can find Corton Charlemagne and Le Corton, very famous Grand Cru over there. So a few numbers about Burgundy first. Very important to understand that yes, it's a very well-known region in the wine world, but it's very, very small production, very premium wines, small category, 0.3% of the world production in wines and 4% of the French vineyards in total. In terms of the parcel, it's a big one. It's a small part, but with a lot of AOC. 20% of the French AOC are coming from Burgundy, and we've identified nowadays around 1,250 climates, and it's evolving all day, all the time, so it can grow quite easily. I like to remind also a bit of a comparison with other big regions that we might know, which is Champagne and Bordeaux. you can see that that Burgundy is actually the third biggest vineyard in terms of hectare, if we can put it like that. Only 3,000 hectares for 200 million bottles. And yes, it's always good to see that Champagne is not so far. And you can see that Bordeaux, for example, instead of Burgundy, with the major négoce activity is actually booming. It's a huge part of the French trade. A little graph here in order for you to know the in Burgundy we have a classification. So the wines are going to be divided in between regional, village, then Premier Cru, and then Grand Cru. You can see that it's here dominated by the white wine, mainly in village, and then in terms of Premier Cru and Grand Cru, we have kind of a fair repartition in between red and white. It's always good to see. We have a small part also with the Crément de Bourgogne, which is a classic method, champenoise method, but made in Burgundy. Good also to remind you guys of the levels of appellation. So basically it's defined like that, what you see on the screen. So if you're at the bottom of the valley, it's going to be mainly the regional wines. Then at the start of the slope, you'll have the village. In the middle of the slope, which is going to be known as the best terroir that you'll find, you'll have the Premier Cru and the Grand Cru. And at the top, where the wines are going to be fresher, you'll find some village and some Premier Cru. So the target is really to place ourselves with the Meursault will be in between the village and the Premier Cru. It's pretty cool. Of course, in terms of the grapes, it's always good to remain Chardonnay for the whites and Pinot Noir for the red. It's pretty simple, mono grapes over there. A word that we like to say as French and like to talk about the terroir. So it's always good to remind the definition of it. You'll have first it's going to be a blend of lots of different ingredients. When we talk about terroir, it's not only the soil. Sometimes we like to talk about the soil, but you have the soil, it's part of it. Then you'll have the topography, so where the parcel is going to be placed and situated. The orientation, the climate, of course. Right now, it's right in the center of the and it's a huge topic actually for us. You know that global warming is now something that is happening, and we have some extreme weather change happening in the vineyards in between the frost and sometimes the really strong heat in the summer. We need to figure out, and it's new challenges that we are going to face in the next years, and that we are facing for more than 10 years now. We'll have the nature, of course, what it gives, the vines, and where we grow actually the vines. Then the vine, the pure fruit, and of course the labor, the people that makes it. So the terroir definition is a blend of everything that you can see here on the screen. We're going to focus a bit more on Bouchard. So 300 years of history. Bouchard is actually one of the founding houses in Burgundy. The story here, you have a little picture, the video. We are lucky enough to be situated in the middle of Beaune, in the Château de Beaune, where you can see here on the screen a few bottles. We have an amazing condition and a cellar down there, beautiful. Feel free, of course, to go back to Richard if you want to come and visit us. It's always a pleasure to have you guys there. I know it's good to talk about the wine, but having the glass in our hand and being able to show you actually where we grow the vines, it's always yes, very important to see also from your own eyes where we keep the wines, how we work. We can talk about it, but when you see it happening, it's always important. So as I said, one of the founding Burgundy houses. The story of Bouchard started in 1731 with the creation of the Maison Bouchard. So it was the start. At first, the Bouchard family, they were traders. So basically clothing merchants that were trading in between, based in Beaune, and were trading all those products back to the capital, Paris. That was the big thing at the time. And basically, they started as a négociant. So they saw the potential of the vines, and basically they were not owning any land. They were just buying the vines to start with, making the wines and basically exchanging with Paris in order to make a little money. That was the story at the time. Second, sorry about my little cough. Second very important date is going to be basically 1775 and 1771. It's the boat. They are going to focus and say, okay, we have a real probably a real business opportunity here, so we need to buy some lands. And the first lands started with Bouchard buying a very iconic plot in Volnay, so not so far from Beaune, named Volnay-les-Cayrets in 1775. 1791 was they decided to buy the famous plot that made Bouchard what it is today, which is called Bonne Grève de l'Enfant Jésus. You might have seen the bottles in few restaurants table. It's really one of the iconic wines, and that's really the moment where actually Bouchard was situated on the map as a wine producer, 1791. Here you have a very ancient map of the city of Beaune. On the top, you can see the fortification with the Château de Beaune. In 1820, the family Bouchard was able to buy the Château de Beaune, and with it, more than 10 kilometers of cellars. The chance that we have is that the temperature, the humidity level is actually perfect to keep wine. So we are lucky enough to have below the castle a beautiful library, one of the oldest in Beaune, where you can see wines going back to the 1900s. 1896, I think, is the oldest vintage that we keep there. So really something to see. So again, I encourage you to come and visit us. It's always good to be able to see that from your own eyes. Piece of history. 1995, very important. The Bouchard family, too many people. Basically, not everybody having the same vision, so they decided to sell their shares to another very important family, which is the Henriot family, mainly known for their champagne, a beautiful estate over there. And basically, we joined the Henriot group, so Maison et Domaine Henriot, in 1995. Basically, in between 1995 and 2006, the Henriot family decided to say, okay, we have a gem in Burgundy and in Beaune. We need to buy a little more plots. So they're going to go to Clos-Vougeot, Bonnemar, Échezeaux, Meursault. We are lucky enough, yet we'll talk a little bit about the Meursault later, but to be one of the biggest owners in Meursault. And that's thanks to the family Henriot. Very important date also in 2005, we used to vinify the wines in Beaune in a small facility. And in 2005, we decided to build a complete facility, gravity flow facility in Savigny-les-Beaunes, which is great, right in the middle of I'll show you a little map later, but right in the middle of the Côte de Beaune, which allows us to be very effective during the harvest. You know that the temperature can be now a huge challenge. So we are, thanks to this winery in Savigny, less than 2 hours away from everywhere where we have some vines. So we are quite effective and quick in the vinification process. 2022 is actually very, very important for us because basically the Bouchard Père et Fils estate and the Maison et Domaine Henriot group decided to merge in 22. And the Bouchard Père et Fils joined the Artemis Domaine portfolio. Artemis is owned by François Pinault, one of the big billionaires that we have in France. He's the third richest man in France. He's the owner of the group Kering that you might have known around owning those brands like Yves Saint Laurent, Bottega Veneta, and all those things. He's a huge wine lover. And in 2022, he decided to basically merge with the Henriot group. So Artemis Domaine is also known for other estates like Château Latour. We have Isolé Vineyards in America. So it was a good chance. We have also Domaine de Génie, Clos de Tart in Burgundy, Château Grillet in the Rhône. So we are now very proud and really happy to join this group of very, very prestigious estates. And that's actually great news. There's going to be a lot of change happening in the next year. So follow Bouchard. It will be interesting to see where we are heading. I talked to you about a little map. I think that it's always good to be able to situate what we talked about. So as Bouchard, today we are basically placed in Beaune. You can see it on the map right here. And basically everything that we're going to own as in terms of land is going to be placed in between Alox Corton with the Colline de Corton and the Grand Cru, Corton Charlemagne and Corton to Chassagne-Montrachet. So basically we are lucky enough to have vineyards in all those villages, and which makes us actually one of the key estates that you can find in the Côte de Beaune. A bit about the terroir and the vineyard management. It's always important. So in terms of the vineyard and the size of it, in order to see that, we are quite big, 105 hectares total, including 11 hectares of Grand Cru, 66 hectares of Premier Cru, which makes us a very premium estates. You can see that most of what we own is going to be placed in between Premier Cru and Grand Cru. We've identified in Bouchard around 80 climates, and in terms of the age of the vines, we are going to be towards 35 in terms of if we have to do an average age around 35 years old for the vines. Here is the face of one of the face of the company is our winemaker Frédéric Weber joined the team in 2003 and starting making the wines for Bouchard since 2013. So it's been around for a long time. He knows all there is to know about the terroir, and he's in charge basically of the vineyard management team, so taking care of the vines and also the winemaking. He's the one that makes the beautiful Meursault that you are able to pour in your bars and restaurants. Very important now to talk about it. Organic farming. We are lucky enough to have started actually this démarche, as we say in French, in 2009. We started to refocus on it. We were, I think, one of the precursors in Burgundy. Since 2015, every single vineyard is organically farmed, and today everything is organically farmed, and everything will be the 105 hectares will be officially organic in 2025. So it's quite huge. It's a big thing in Burgundy. I think that everybody now is following the step, and with the challenges that we are facing in terms of weather and climate change, we need this farming. It's a huge change, but for the best. We will be able also to see it and in terms of quality in the wines that we are making. The harvest is quite simple. We are in Burgundy, so of course we are going to focus on quality and harvest everything that we own in very small crates, maximum 13 kilos. And as I said, the chance that we have in having the winery in Savigny-les-Beaunes makes it less than 2 hours to actually go from the vineyard to the winery. So in between the moment the grape is picked to the moment it's in the tank, less than 2 hours. It's very important. Of course, we are going to sort the very best grapes in order to make the very best wine. We have the chance to have a beautiful, again, winery and different vats. So we are going to be able to, we'll see, for example, with the Meursault, it's coming for more different parcel with the Meursault domain. So we don't want to put everything together. We are going to vinify parcel by parcel in order to blend at the end and make the very best of our wines, basically. Of course, barrel aging, we are lucky enough to have a huge facility, being able to keep at least 2 vintage in the same place. And this is actually in the winery. You can see a little video here with the people working. You have the video. You had the video before, but this is one of the room that we have below the chateau, where we keep the bottles, basically. So very, very important, because we keep an amazing history right there with wines going back to the 1900s, and the conditions over there are perfect in terms of temperature and humidity. So it's a great tool that we have here to work with. And to finish, I talked about it. we are going to do a little focus on the wine that you guys are pouring in the restaurants and bar. So of course it's the Meursault. I managed to again I decided to put back this map because I think it's important. You can see that actually we're based in Beaune. The winery is in Savigny, and you can see that Meursault is really one of the centered terroirs that we can see in Côte de Beaune, mainly known for the whites. Of course, there are very small proportion of Pinot planted in Meursault, but it's true that the terroir is mainly known for the white. So I would say that 90% of the production in Meursault is going to be white, and then we're going to have 5 to 10% of the rest, which is going to be red. You have yes, I decided to put a little slide first on the bottle in order for you to recognize it, and then yes, I think that it's always good to have an idea of the terroir. So you have a little map of Bouchard right here. The little red point, so the map that we have is the Vignoble de Meursault total. The lighter green is actually going to be the village, and the darker the premier cru. In terms of the Meursault that you guys are working with, you are working with so an estate wine, but it's going to be a village, and we are lucky enough to be the biggest owner at Bouchard in Meursault. The little red dots that you will find on the map is actually the vines that we are going to use in order to make the Meursault wine that you guys are working with. As I said, we are lucky enough to have different vats in the winery, so that's going to allow us to take the parcels, basically take the grapes from the parcel, vinify the parcel in different vats, so completely different vinification for those wines. And at the very end, Frédéric, that you saw before in the slide, is going to taste everything and basically blend those different terroirs together in order to give us the Meursault that you guys are working with. So very important to manage. You've seen up there, I've put the size of the vineyards. Very important to understand. 5.83 hectares is quite huge in Meursault, considering that it's one of the most demanded terroirs nowadays. Everybody wants a piece of it, so it's good for you that you have some. But it's true that we are lucky enough to have a bit of it in order to produce and for us to actually be able to sell it to you guys, and for you to actually advise the customers. And basically that's where we want to be, you know, at the end, when we make wine, we want to be on the tables and drink in the right way, and thanks to you guys this is possible. So it's pretty good. In terms of the terroir, it's quite simple. We have some limestone and marl, so it's quite mineral and acidic. It's going to bring some acidity and minerality to the wine. The orientation, as you can see on the map, is going to be east to southwest, so it's a very, very good orientation. Not too warm, and the chance that we have is, as I said, with this Meursault, it's a very good example of a typical Meursault, because we are lucky enough to have different parcels. As you can see, the little dots, you're gonna have the top dots that you can see, hein? So you can see les casse-têtes, les tessons, les mots. It's going to be at the top of the hill, so close to the premier cru and the grand cru, which is going to give us some fruitiness, minerality, and acidity. And then you can see the 4 little dots that you can see at the bottom of the Meursault map, which are going to be more in the valley, are going to bring a little more body and structure, basically, to the wine. So that's actually, yes, the idea behind this is, yes, work with everything that we have in Meursault in order to give the best picture of what a Meursault terroir should be, and what a Meursault should taste. So it's a beautiful wine. I hope that you manage to taste it, and that you will enjoy pouring it. Of course, if you have any question about the wine, you're more than welcome to. I think that we are going to switch to a little Q&A. So if you want to ask questions about the wines, about the estates, do not hesitate. And that's pretty much it. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I know that you guys are very busy, and I wanted also to thank you for having me today. I think it was great to do a little focus on Bouchard and Meursault, and we are really happy to work with you guys. So please feel free to ask questions. I'm here.
I will open the floor to any questions, but I think two things it's worth just touching on, Guillaume, is the vinification of the Meursault.
Of
How
course.
how long does it spend in oak, etc. And what would be your recommendation for the perfect food pairing?
Definitely. So I'll start with the food pairing. It's so of course it's a white wine. We are lucky enough, as I said, to have a bit of minerality in this wine and acidity. So of course, Meursault is very well known to work with white fish. I would go, and also it's going to work with white meat, like I would say classic chicken, but with a bit of sauce always. Not something to dry. You need it's a structured one. Huh? You were asking about the winemaking technique. Here we are going to do a simple press, and then basically the wine is going to go straight to the oak for in between 12. It's going to depend on the vineyard and the changes, but lately we are going to be in between 12 months and 14 months in terms of vinification, so aging in oak. The very important thing that actually you can talk about also is that sometimes people, they don't like when the I think the global trend is actually targeting those wines with acidity, fruitiness. People are looking more and more for very drinkable and approachable wine. That's what we try to do with the Meursault by reducing the impact of the oak. We never want the oak to go over the fruit. We are working the fruit. That's the base of what we do. So we always want the fruit to be on the top of it and the freshness of the fruit. So that's why we decided since 2015 to reduce the use of new oak. New oak is giving a lot of, I would say, toasty flavor to the wine. And since 2015, we use only 10% of new oak barrels for the white wines that we have. In the past, we also used to, at the very end of the aging, the 6 last months of the aging, where we decided we took the wine out from the barrels and put it back in what we call a stainless steel tank. This was the idea behind this, was to keep the freshness of the fruit. When you stay in stainless steel, you really focus on the fruit and the stainless steel because there is no other entrance. The oak flavors come from the oak, obviously. So stainless steel was allowing that. But in the past years, Frederic, again, with the I think that it's also one of the effects of the changes that we see in terms of climate. It didn't really add those flavors that we were looking for, and basically Frederic decided to now the last 6 months are going to be spent in what we called a foudre. So it's a very, very big barrel that I've seen wines and wines and wines. So it's not going to add any more oak flavor, but it's going to allow the wines to structure itself even better.
Yes,
so since 15 and this one exactly, a very large barrel for this one, it's going to finish basically in foudre. So that's it in terms of the vinification, and basically that's for the rest. It's really it's really terroir oriented. As I said, we are lucky enough to have different parcels vinified aside. So the top parcels are going to be the ones bringing the acidity, the minerality of the wines, and the lower part of those parcels is going to be, because we are on a lesser rocky soils, it's going to be way more clayish, sandish. So it's going to give the opulence to the wine and the structure of the wine. You're going to find both of those characteristics in this Meursault.
Makes perfect sense. So in summary, 12 to 14 months in oak, plus time to sort of settle in either stainless steel or foudre afterwards, and 10% new oak. So hence the oak is well integrated, not overpowering.
Definitely. And basically, when I said 12 to 14, it's going to be, for example, 2021 as a vintage was what we call a cool vintage. So we decided to focus on on that. We are going to basically we work on what nature gives us. So we're gonna have tension and acidity in those wines. So basically, what we're gonna do is on a cold year, maybe spend a little more time in oak because the wine naturally is going to miss a bit of structure. So the oak is going to expand this structure and gives this full bodiness that we are looking for also with the Meursault. And on a very warm year, we can actually reduce the timing in oak. This, of course, is always under the inspection of Frédéric Weber that tastes the wine every day, every single day with the team. And basically, when the wine is ready, we take it out and we can bottle it.
Brilliant. I'm conscious of time, so is there any other questions before we wrap up there? Guillaume, fantastic presentation, really nice. I think you should have run the introduction to Burgundy because you would have definitely done a better job of it than I would have. But yeah,
no, it's always a pleasure. You have my contact here. Feel free to share it, Richard, with the team. I'll be glad to make you a visit of the Chateau de Beaune. I'm based in London, so of course, if you need me, I'm there. You can call me anytime. And of course, if you want to visit, any of you guys are more than welcome to come and visit us. And we'll be able to share a little glass of Meursault on the Meursault parcel. It's always better with this weather. I think it's great.
You might regret saying that. You got a whole load of people that contact you for a holiday in Burgundy.
Always a party in Burgundy.
Exactly. Look, Ian, thank you so much indeed for your time. I will just finish there by just highlighting once again that that was a fantastic session, and we finish. So Côte de Beaune today, Beaujolais yesterday, and we finish the Burgundy week tomorrow up in Drouin, which is based in the north of the Côte d'Or. And we get to talk all about their Gevrey Chambertin. So Guillaume, thank you so much indeed for your time. Absolute pleasure, and hope to see many of you on the call tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
Au revoir. Merci beaucoup.
Merci.